Do you want to know the 7 reasons that a narcissist is going to discard you? By the end of this video, I'm going to tell you what the 7 reasons are so that you're going to spot them a mile away before they come. Hey there, I'm Rebecca Zung, and I am an attorney. I'm also a narcissist negotiation expert, and I've helped millions of people through this channel and thousands of people through my law practice to escape the toxic grip of narcissists. And I want to help you too. I've written 2 best-selling books, Negotiate Like You Matter and Breaking Free, a step-by-step divorce guide. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so that you can get notified when I upload brand new content, which I do every single day, because I am on a mission. I'm on a crusade to help anyone who's ever dealing with narcissists get more powerful, shift that dynamic, shift the conversation so that eventually everyone will be able to become the most powerful versions of themselves and be free of these heinous toxic creatures. Okay, so by the end of this video, you're going to have 7 reasons why narcissists are going to discard you. All right, so number one, you stop feeding their ego. So why do they hang around you in the first place? Well, they started off with that love bombing. Remember that. And you think that they started off with love bombing because they were so in love with you? No, that is not why they came around. They came around because they were looking for you to feed their ego. They wanted you to feed their ego. And so, they started off with this love bombing, then they start devaluing you because they were conditioning you. They were looking to see if you were going to be a good supply source for them. So everything they do, remember, everything they do is a manipulation. So they start ghosting you. They want control. They don't have a good sense of self. They have a very, very fragile sense of self. Despite the way they act, they might act very strong. They might act very purposeful. They might seem very confident, but they actually have a very, very fragile sense of self, which is why in my practice, I see people in that massive discard phase. And so I see it firsthand all the time. And if you stop feeding their ego, then they have no purpose for you. Your only purpose is to feed that ego. And once you're no longer feeding that ego, they've got no use for you anymore. Okay, so that's number one. Number 2 is maybe they just became bored of you. They found a better supply source. So remember, narcissistic supply is anything that feeds their ego. And actually a whole video called Narcissism 101, Narcissistic Supply, which actually explains what narcissistic supply is. And remember, there is a hierarchy of supply. There's like the best supply source, which is what I call diamond level supply, or that highest level of supply, which is the prestige, the big house, the cars, the big job, kind of what you see, the window dressing. It's what most people think of when they think of the good things, the compliments, right? And then there's what I call like the dark underbelly of narcissistic supply, which is not what the narcissist necessarily shows everybody, but it still gives them supply. It also feeds their ego, which is treating people like crap, controlling them or devaluing them in some way. That also does give them supply. It also does feed their ego. But sometimes they just become bored of you. Sometimes they just might find other better supply sources. So sometimes they will discard you completely if they just find a better supply source altogether. So that's number 2. Number 3 is you're no longer boosting their self-esteem. Like there's no more adulation. If you're not giving them the adulation that they wanted, or you're not fawning all over them the way they wanted, then they will move on. Because a lot of times the reason why they were there in the first place is because you were fawning all over them and just saying, oh, you're so wonderful, you're so great. Because remember, they are, like I say, like rats in a maze. I mean, they are motivated and incentivized by one thing and one thing only. That's that narcissistic supply. So it can come in a variety of sources. And so you will see a theme here in some ways, but I am working my way up here to the best one here. The next one is that you lose your looks. So this is one that actually is kind of gross and sort of so fake and disgusting, but I have seen this definitely happen. I have seen, they are pretty fake people a lot of times. And so if they've been with you because you look a certain way, I happen to practice law in an area where a lot of times it's, these older guys with these younger women. I mean, I remember this guy telling me that when he first started at this private school, that he was like, wow, it's so crazy that there's so many grandfathers so involved in their grandchildren's education. And he didn't realize that it was, these guys with like their third wives and their kids, So, sometimes if you lose your looks, then that could happen. So the next one is that you no longer can take care of them. Maybe you're sick, you're feeble, you're old, you no longer provide financing. They were with you because you were taking care of them in some way, and you don't do that anymore. Because of whatever reason. Your value to them is the value that you're providing, right? So if the value that you were providing was that you were taking care of them in some way, and you're no longer doing that, then now it's gone. So if you're taking care of them, whether it's financially or in some other way, and you're no longer doing that because you're too old or too sick, or you lost your job or your income and whatever it was, and now you're not doing that anymore, well, then you're gone. So that's another one. So, and if you think that is all so fake, then put so fake in the comments right now. Yeah, I know they're very fake. Next one is that they can't control you anymore. They realize that you've gotten too strong for them. And I've seen this happen a lot of times in divorces, where one party, when they got married, didn't have a good sense of self. Maybe they didn't have good self-esteem. And so they allowed themselves to be controlled by the other person quite a bit. And then as time went on, they became much stronger and realized who they were and didn't really want to be controlled by the other person anymore, became stronger. And then the narcissist was like, I don't want you anymore. You're too strong for me. When they realize that you can't be controlled anymore, then they don't want to be with you anymore. So that's the next one. And the last one, this is really the best one, because this is the one where for sure they will want to discard you, but it also is the most threatening to them. And this is the one where you can create the leverage. And this is the one where my SLAY methodology comes in: strategy, leverage, anticipate, and focus on you. This is the one where it's the most risky for them as well. And this is where you threaten to expose them. Because when you threaten to expose them, then they don't like that. they want to discard you, but they also find that very risky. So they want to get rid of you because now you're threatening to expose them. But then on the other hand, they don't like that. So this is where their narcissistic rage might come flying out, and things might get kind of hairy for you. So that's where you might want to start getting into my slay methodology. So that's where you want to definitely make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Grab my free Crush My Negotiation Prep worksheet at winmynegotiation.com and join my free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. And make sure you like this video and share it out for others who are dealing with narcissists for sure, because for narcissists, you're either for them or against them. And once they realize that you're against them, that's when you see the birth of the smear campaign. That's when the flying monkeys come out. That's when they realize that gloves come off and it all comes crashing out, because they do not like all of that. It goes pretty crazy for them at that point. But remember, they are the worst right before they're ready to give up. And they do give up. And I know how to get what you want from them 100%. They are way more afraid of you than you are of them. So never give in, never give up. For sure, there's a way to win. And I have figured it out. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and never give in. And I will definitely see you guys in the next video.